Infinite Creator, ubiquitous, unending energy, always in gratitude and ever in awe. However massive this is to the mind, and however small we feel, we recognize we are a significant part of all of this. There's a great appreciation for our being here in this time of transition, being witness to the turning of our worldwide and interplanetary family, and doing our part in alchemizing the material and the spiritual. To do this, our tasks continue focused on creator energy and heart-centered. So let us keep our connection to our higher self in mind while we conduct our divinely inspired actions. And we ask for your continued grace in all that we do. Let it be so, and so it is.
Thank you, Charlie. My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. Like to bring you folks up to date on what's going on with our Jural Assembly. We have cases going with the Sweet Home School Board. We have a case going with the Lane County Circuit Court. We're counsel to two of our people. They are sui juris in their own behalf. They are presenting themselves. They are not represented by anybody. It's becoming a real chore because they're doing everything that they can possibly do on every level that we've been able to find to try and negate everything we do. And we're not going to let them. We're going to continue down this path. It's a good one. It's difficult, but it's a good one. We're picking up more members. Thank you very much. We've had a good donation from a member, and that was much appreciated. We have hearings and cases coming up on the 26th and on the 30th. Looking for a continuance on the 26th. Yeah. So, to bring this into fruition of returning Oregon to a constitutional Republican form of government this year, we're going to need some people to step up. We just have too big a load to carry with the number of people carrying. And that's a plea. That's a cry for help. And I hope it falls on some good ears. The 80-20 rule, 80% of the work is done by 20% of the workers. Well, it takes a lot of effort to get that 20% to stand up and buckle up, carry the load. And that's what we need. I got to thank Eric. Guy stands up. I mean, he does yeoman work and he does excellent work. Thank you very much. Got to thank Tina. Standing up to the school board, standing up to the Department of Education, standing up to the Attorney General for Oregon. Takes courage. Her family says to her, "Mom, this isn't like you." That is. She's never been placed in the position before where she had to. And the minute they gave her the opportunity, she stood up. Bingo. Eric's been standing up for years. I mean, the guy is strong. Much appreciated. Charlie's back from her vacation. That's appreciated. She's our rock. Yeah, all of them are. So, if any of you folks have ideas, please bring them up. You know where we are and you know how to get a hold of us. And we get good ideas, and we need more of them. That's what it's going to take to get through this. Nobody's ever done it before. In the last 112 years on Oregon, nobody has taken the de facto to the wall. And we are in every single effort, every single place we can. State, county, city, all of them. Feds, just not going to let any of it stand. There will be no infractions against our unalienable rights. Just not going to permit it. So, researchers, we really need people that know how to research. I was on the phone with Mike's school in California yesterday or the day before, and talking about things. And in the conversation, while we're talking, he's researching what we're talking about and coming up with the answers, and answers on something that I had been typing in and looking for and couldn't find, and he found it immediately. Charlie found one the other day. They're changing on the free dictionary online, they're blending the words de facto and de jure together until they are eliminating any difference between the two. The de facto is becoming the de jure. Well, everybody knows that, just like a Republican form of government is a democracy. Everybody knows that. And those are two lies. And they just put them right out there and people gobble them up. I'm looking on the internet yesterday, and there's one of these guys like Crowder, I don't know who it is, and he's interviewing people on a college campus someplace. And they're adult people that he's talking to, and they don't know how to read the face of a clock. They they don't know. They only know how to tell digital time. And these are the same people that are going for, yeah, we don't need money. We can do it with the credit card, just digital. That's all. We don't need that. They're so ignorant that they can't even tell time on a clock. And these people are saying that they're competent enough to make a decision to not have money and just use a credit card. They are so new, they have no concept of what's really going on. And these people are entitled to vote. And they bring in people from other countries and they want to give them the right to vote. Like that Casio Ortez or whatever her name is, that goofy chick from New York. She says, the undocumented are my constituents. And she just says it. It's just retarded. So I'm talking with William the other day. He homeschools his grandkids. I said something about, well, what are you teaching them and what's going on? And he said, they're youngsters, they're little fellas. I don't know, there's probably 4 or 5, and they're 4 to 6. That's a guess, close enough. He says, I'm teaching them to tell time. I have a clock on the wall, and we learn how to tell time. 4 and 5, homeschool, college students on the campus that can't read a clock. Do you see the difference? It's just incredible. The more we look at it, the more we need to know. Somebody was saying that they felt responsible for and couldn't see any way out of it, and were feeling so negative and oppressed because of everything that is going on in this duplicitous incorporated governance in color of law that we're existing under, the benevolent martial law that became malevolent. And she's feeling sorry for that and giving up. And it happened before her parents were born. And she wants to take on the guilt for all of that and give up because it's been going on so long. I just can't fathom that. But that's the thought, that's what's going on, that's what people are thinking. So how do you bring that thinking back around? How do you do that? Well, there's a Oregon revised statute. If Richard was here, he'd tell us what number it was and then quote most of it. But on Oregon, they're supposed to teach the Constitution and the founding documents for 5 years, beginning no later than the 8th grade. And when you talk to people that graduated Oregon high schools, they don't know. I was talking to a fellow in charge of incoming calls in a television station for news reporting. And I asked him how much he knew about the Constitution, because that's what I wanted to talk about. And he says, I don't know anything about the Constitution. He was backing up immediately, afraid. He didn't know anything about the Constitution. He was afraid of that, didn't know. And so I told him what I just told you. He says, maybe I got some of that in my senior year. Well, they start dumbing down the high school after me. I'm an old man. I graduated high school in 1956. So things were a lot different then. People fought differently. There was a different set of values. We still fought for our rights. We knew what they were, and we wouldn't let people run roughshod over us. And that kind of drifted away a little bit. Then I went into the Navy, and you got to remember the Navy is part of the industrial military complex, not the good guys. These people that say, we need the military to come in and straighten this out. The military is in it, they're up to their elbows, and they're not straightening anything out. They've been in the driver's seat since 1861. You think the president's really in command of the military? No. Not really. You saw it with Trump. This admiral turns out to be not a good guy. And this general turns out to be not a good guy. And West Point graduates a cadet, and after graduation, he opens up his tunic and he's wearing a Che Guevara t shirt. And in his hat, he had something like, I'm a communist. They know, they know what they're graduating, and they're not graduating those for our benefit. They're graduating those for their benefit. When I got back from South America and I was an older man looking for a job, they have a group down in LA called 40 Plus. You have to be over 40 to get it. So I joined it and they help us find jobs, and they did. They were good. They did a lot of teaching. They were good. I appreciated my time there. And there were several retired military guys there. And I was talking to a guy, a retired colonel, Air Force. I says, "What are you going to do?" He says, "Oh, I'll find a job in the defense industry. They'll hire me. Somebody will hire me." They hire all of us that retire. We all find a place in the military industrial complex after we retire. So it's just revolving door. If they don't go into that, they go double dip into another branch of government. You see them all over. Retired military working at the VA, retired military working for the state of Oregon, double dipping, having a wonderful time. And they're part of the problem. They are part of the de facto. We have to really watch it. We have to do this for ourselves. Nobody is going to do it for us. You can't sit home on your ass and expect your brother to pick up your load for you. Not going to happen. Somebody says, "Well, how are you going to enforce it?" We enforce it by doing our job, by being a man or a woman on the land and the soil of your state, standing up for your rights and not letting anybody infringe upon your unalienable rights granted by God. If you can't do that, you do not deserve to be a free man or woman. You deserve to be what you are, a slave. I'm not a slave. Yeah, you are. You don't want to be a state national. I'm sorry. All you folks that think David Straight and Anna von Reitz is correct, you're wrong. You do not want to be a state national. Why would you, a man or a woman, without ruler and without subject, a sovereign, why would you give jurisdiction to the state? That's what a state national does. They give jurisdiction to the state. Why would you do that? I can give you several reasons, but why would you just stop there? Why would you expatriate from being a U.S. citizen? The United States is located in Washington, District of Columbia, and any forts, ports, or needful buildings they have around the nation. Why would you expatriate from being a U.S. citizen, a slave to the United States, Inc., to being a state national and a slave to the state of Oregon and Kate Brown and that legislature? Why would you do that? I can think of several reasons, but why would you do that and stop there? You want to expatriate from wherever you are in the system, such as a U.S. citizen. You want to expatriate to being a man and a woman on the land and soil with our children, without subject and without ruler. That's the position you want to be in. That's where God made you to be free. Now, once you get to that point and you comprehend it and you own it and you know what you're talking about, once you get to that point, you say, I can expatriate. I can go down and see Quai at the Washington County Elections Board, and she's the elections clerk, and I can register to vote as a U.S. citizen, and I did. And I can also unregister, and I did. And I did it again. And I may do that several more times. I can go down and get a U.S. passport. I've had a U.S. passport. I've stood in front of the judge and he said, Are you a U.S. citizen? I said, Damn straight. Stood up straight with my shoulders back. I was a proud man, U.S. Navy veteran. I knew what the hell I was talking about. No, didn't have a clue. I was MK ultraed so bad that I didn't comprehend until I was 75, 2014. In 2001, I knew things were wrong. Things are wrong here. This is not right. What's wrong, I don't know, but things are, but it's still the best country in the world. And that's not right. That shouldn't happen. But I don't really need to own a 50 caliber machine gun, so I'm not worried. I don't need to own a tank. Yeah, you do. You need to have unalienable rights, zero infringements on your Second Amendment. You need those things. That's part of your being. But you're so dumbed down you can't even read a clock. And you think that going digital on a credit card is the way to go. And you want your $100,000 student loan debt to get your degree in Rainbow Coalition PhD, the LGBTQ whatever. And you get that, and then you say, okay, where's my job? And they say, well, there isn't any jobs. Oh, so you're driving taxi with a master's degree, wondering why, and you want somebody to forgive your student loans. No, not going to happen. If you were dumb enough to get them all, you got to be dumb enough to pay them off. That's just the way it goes. So I started out with the plea for more activity on Oregon. But you have to remember, everybody on Oregon, after we return Oregon to a constitutional Republican form of government, then we have to help the other 32 states and 17 territories to get their act together, because we cannot meet in Congress assembled for the United States of America until we have a quorum, until we do it lawfully, not legally, not de facto, not play pretend, color of law, not that bullshit they're passing out from Salem and Sacramento. and every other Boise and wherever else they are. At one time I knew all 50 states, no doubt, and I knew the capital of all 50 states, no doubt, and it's all just kind of drifted away. But there's so many kids that haven't learned any of that. Back to the face of the clock again. Anyhow, all of the other states, the other 32, have to come together with the Jural Assembly, and the Jural Assembly has to do the work, and they have to return their state to a constitutional Republican form of government. And it's all on paper. It all has to be done. Just like going to the toilet. The job's not done till the paperwork's finished. You got to get the paperwork finished. Don't worry about enforcing anything until you've got something to enforce. And if you haven't done the work, you don't get to enjoy the benefits. In any case, I think I've ranted long enough. We've got 32 states and 17 territories that have to get as far along as the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly has. And they have to do it soon. This is September. We have to have it done by December. So we better start working. Run fast. Get there. No more fighting about petty stuff. Get the job done. That's what we have to do. And I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. And then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.